Perfect. So, hello to everybody that's going to join Sam and I on this conversation. We felt like we needed to have a conversation on some social media posts that have been happening. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Roberta Robbins, and I am the facilitator of the Sacred Medicine Path. And with me today, I have Sam Black, the lovely Sam Black. Sam and I have done a few chats now together, but we've known each other for 3 years, something like that. Now, I don't know, time's flying by. And Sam and I live in a world where what we're going to be talking about, we thought this definitely affects, you know, us and our business and those that we coach and mentor. And we thought it was an important topic to have a conversation about, because we both know that we have people already asking us and talking about this. So you're like, whoa, what's going on? But first, Sam, why don't you introduce yourself before we go into our discussion for today?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Black from Sam Black Coaching Solutions and Sam Black Psychic Medium. And you know, it's so great that we're having this conversation in this chat, because I shared the post yesterday just with my 2 cents on my Facebook page, and it blew up. Like, so many people expressing their feelings about it and actually feeling almost attacked themselves by it. It's so interesting. So I love that we're having this conversation, and I know that we can shed some light onto it and also help restore some hope to those people who went to this person in their most vulnerable time looking for help and looking for guidance, and now probably feel pretty darn betrayed. So yeah, I love that we're doing this, Roberta.
Yeah, so am I. I was like, it landed so perfectly and like easily for us, from, you know, from the post being really, really seen out there, to us going, oh, let's have a conversation, and boof, the next morning we can make time, both of us, to have it, right?
Yes.
So and it was funny, I posted and did a video to my group of women, and yeah, they all had something to say. There was like deep conversation with it, and I had shared a comment on your post too yesterday morning, and yeah, it was just so. Anyhow, what are we talking about? Do you know? Do you have an idea what we possibly could be talking about? We're talking about Doreen Virtue, and Doreen recently has put out there a statement on her website, right? And of course, this has been shared within the social media, and it's pretty much been a, you know, especially letting people that didn't know that her transformation, where she is on her path now, but a very clear to her where she is of what she feels is a very dark, negative thing in the new age spiritual world that many of us live. And it's across the board. It's not even just like one little area. It's like so huge. It's affecting so many people, or it could affect many people, right? I mean, it all depends on how you feel about it. So we wanted to talk about what this is about, how we feel about it, and let this conversation unravel whatever way it needs to be, and however Sam and I are guided for this. And our intention is that we hope that if you're feeling a little scattered and unsure and like hurt or confused or like not sure about what you might be reading, if you go and read this, we just hope that, you know, we can shed some guidance and light and support with this post. And I would say for myself, and I said this with my group, is may Doreen, you know, be blessed on her path, right? We all have paths, and we still want to come from a heart space center of compassion and love, because Doreen's obviously got a lot going on for herself, and she's I've seen this for a while now. I knew that she had transitioned more into a very, how do I say, a Christianity path, very religious Christian.
Very extreme Christian.
Extreme.
Because I don't feel it's reflective of most Christian journeys. I think it's just an extreme interpretation of that belief and that religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's extreme, and it's got a very black and white, this or that, and it feels very judgy, condemning, criticizing. So I think, our feel, especially with this, is those notes of how that can make, how it's coming off to. And, Christianity is beautiful. Religions are beautiful. Spiritual practices are wonderful. There's so much to be given and to receive from having those structures and those beliefs in your life. But there comes a time when it's too extreme, it's too far out there, that it's causing hurt and pain, and not accepting it. And when it comes to Christianity, my feel is always like, it's about acceptance, it's about love, it's about forgiveness, it's about that we are all uniquely on our path, and we should have love and acceptance for wherever each of us are, even if we can't align to that we still have some love and compassion in that to hold some space for people. But this does not. What do you think, Sam?
No, it definitely does not hold space. And it's really interesting. I really want to tackle this whole idea of New Age, because as we get into the article and we kind of have a look at it, many of the practices that she's condemning are not New Age at all. Astrology, yoga, sweat lodges, these are all practices that have been in existence for thousands of years. And I have to say, I'm really disappointed on the disrespect to those cultures with that black or white thinking. It's just excluding them and all the healing work that people are doing with much of this list. And let's face it, this list is huge. So I'm all with Roberta as far as I'm going to send Doreen so much love and light. And I'm kind of torn on my opinion as far as what her goal is in this list. I feel that people do something like this, first of all, because they want a reaction, but secondly, there's a secondary gain for them. And so I've got a few different theories that I'm torn on. I'm not totally set on what I'm thinking here, but I just want to share, it's so important that when we are feeling so black or white about a certain topic, a certain culture, a certain practice, we need to understand, why is this triggering us? And where do we see ourselves within that practice? Because the reality is that, that whole theory of namaste, right? That whole theory of what triggers us is really that mirror showing us what we're all about. We really need to be conscious of what's happening and be conscious of, why is this really triggering me? Whether the list itself is triggering you, whether it's Doreen writing the list in the first place, what's triggering her, but being an understanding of, we're all connected and all brought together for a reason. So if this is coming into your awareness, there's something there that we can learn from it. So I just think it's a fantastic opportunity to have this discussion and to really explore our own personal belief system as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. We need to feel into what's going on with us, right? That's the most important. What's going on with you if you take the time to go and read her blog, her posts on her website, what's stirring within you, and so allow it to be a healing and a growth opportunity for yourself, right? In a reflection, and sometimes we just need to also have these opportunities to anchor us in personally into our own beliefs and where we stand, right? And what feels right for us. So it is a great opportunity. And I'm totally with Sam also on is there something else or a couple something else going on with this post? And so it's supposed to be kind of weary that there may be underlining currents of other intentions going on with what Doreen is putting out there. And I feel like if intuitively, energetically, and I know Sam's like this too, if I were to lean and go into that energetics, there is different things definitely going on right now for her. So maybe we'll put a few of those thoughts out there. And we know that we've seen that from both of our posts from people that work with us, follow us. You know, there's already been seeping thoughts out there with people going, oh, is it because of this? Is this happening?
I love that. Did you see that orb that just went by you?
Well, I saw something for a moment. Was it over here?
Yeah.
Something just caught my eye. So that was a very good like sign, and not the devil, just so you know. Sorry, there's going to be a little.
It wasn't the devil.
Wasn't the devil?
Good.
And you're like, what is Roberta talking about when she's bringing that in? And that is all about the topic we're talking about today, is the post itself that Doreen put out there. And sorry guys, if you're hearing some noise, I have 2 cats that have decided to come into the room with me and are deciding to have a little playtime with each other. So if you hear a crash and a bang or whatever, it's just them playing. So yeah, Doreen has brought in, you know, pretty much saying, here's my list of what I feel is like the devil. Like it's darkness and you're being led astray. And so
demonology, and it's so fear-based. It's incredible. Yeah. Someone who used to preach so much love, kindness, and compassion. I'm drawn particularly to her work, her Angel Words. It's an amazing book where she and her son took the vibration of words to show how beautiful the vibration of positive words are compared to the negative words. And I'd be really interested to see where some of the words she's using in this article would show up in a frequency. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah. Reading through her stuff yesterday, I also got this direct, okay, she might be letting go and feeling herself that pretty much everything that she was doing for quite a few years, and that most of us know Doreen by, and especially her oracle cards, her angel medicine, her books, her work with, through Hay House, like so many different things, and also her husband's, and I say, because Doreen has been married a few times, also her husband that she's had, their work. So we know her through a few things. Like I met Stephen Farmer a few years ago, and so he had been married to her. So, there's all these different partners that we also know through some weaving, even through their medicine, their practice. And how where I was going to go with that is there is a lot of fear-based, right? And I have, like Sam said, she's like, a book. I don't even know about this book that you're talking about, this particular one, but I have one that is about Ascendant Masters downstairs on my collection. And I love that. It was the first one that got me thinking about Ascendant Masters and their energy. And when I was being introduced personally to Kuan Yin, who was showing up in my life, and I didn't know who she was, it was through that book one day when I was flipping through it, there was Kuan Yin, and I had a name and I had some energy, and I was like, oh, here's the medicine I needed to connect with that essence that was coming in to work with me at a particular point in my life. So here's Doreen now saying, no, to all of it, to not even her stuff, but other people's medicine.
And let's point out too, that Ascendant Masters book, I'm going to Google it right now while we're chatting. It's only a couple years old. We're not talking about a book that's been out 30 years. So let me see. Doreen Virtue.
Well, I know the one I'm talking about, I definitely had it when I was 30. So 13 years ago. So that one, but just recently she's done a lot more, even angel stuff with, I believe she's been with this gentleman. Valentine is his last name, I think.
No. Rodney Valentine, she created her cards with.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of her current husband. I don't remember. Michael. I know Michael's his first name, unless that's changed. But let's see here. We're looking at ascended or archangels and ascended masters.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what Amazon has to say about it. I'm not finding it, but you know what? They're not that old. Let me see.
No.
Here we go. 2004 was the time that particular book was published. We're not talking an incredibly long amount of time here. 2004, going back less than 15 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big shift. And I know the last time I saw Doreen was 2014. She came to Toronto. She had announced she was going to be retiring from her traveling because the traveling was a bit too much for her. And she was going to retire from that and continue just the classes, I believe one in LA and in Hawaii, which she would do with Wayne Dyer. And so it's so interesting. I can remember at that time, she came into the room and it was very much like a queen coming into the court. And I thought, wow, what a huge shift from somebody who had been a doctor in psychology, things like that, to this, right? And you'll notice the pendulum has yet again swung to where she is now. So she is brilliant in creating personas that sell her material. And so there's that logical right brain side of me that's saying, this is just another persona. What's she going to sell us now? Right? Yeah. So it's all pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, there is that undercurrent, right? Of like, oh, what's coming down the pipe for her, right? What are we going to see out there in the world next from her? Mm-hmm. And to me, that is not, I don't know, good energetic alignment, soulfully. But then I think, well, try to not to be in judgment, because everybody's got their own medicine. This, like you said, she's a master really at all these different energies that she's weaving within herself and then put out and has gotten a lot of followers. So this is one of her sacred medicines, really, right? As morphing and moving. And as I'm thinking this, I'm like, I want to know things like, I want to know what her numerology numbers are. I want to know what governing archetypes are for her. I want to know her zodiac sign. I want to know all this because I have no doubt it's going to shed more light and go, oh, well, of course, these are the things that she's working through. These are some of her medicines. This is what she's bringing in. Now, as I'm saying all this, if Doreen was here with us, she'd be like, Roberta, like, you just called in all these things I just put on my list, and I am not. Like, I just mentioned how many things that were on that list, right? Yeah. And Sam and I do want to kind of go over some of the list, the things on it. And we have it that we could probably share on the screen, but I also have it here on my phone beside me. And I was just this comment that she has, part of it, if this list offends or upsets you, it's likely because the demons which have been oppressing you are offended and upset. Mm-hmm. Like, and then it goes on. Like, so, yeah. Like, we're not just talking about light stuff here in this conversation, and you will understand why we've taken some time to have this conversation. I mean, there's so many things out there, people going through stuff all the time, lots of social media stuff, garbage that you need to just let go of. But this is something that's getting attention, whether it's going to be for the good for all of us or super financial, maybe good for Doreen, possibly, but it's definitely, we know it's also not only those of us that are in this field living this life of these things that are on the list, but we also, Sam and I know that we read through this and we know the people that she's been working with and weaving and walking with through I like to call it the Hay House family. Now, I do know people that are part of the Hay House family, and I do know it's like a family. Sometimes there's conflict. And not everybody gets along sometimes, but isn't that life? I mean, the Hay House covers a lot of different topics, so that's going to happen, right? That's just what it is out in the world. But she has been part of the Hay House family, and Louise Hayes, I mean, who passed away, was it just last year? But her energy and her essence of what she embodied and walked in alignment and truth of what the Hay House symbolizes and holds. There's direct things in this that we know it's targeting certain people, certain family members of the Hay House, which then ripples down to those that teach this, walk this themselves, and this has helped to heal them and really has been a foundation. So we're also talking about this because maybe some of these things have been a foundation for you and helped you on your path to really heal. It's been so important to you, and now there's this out there.
Yeah. And as I mentioned to you when we were getting ready for the show, Roberta, thinking of all the millions of vulnerable people, because the people who look for work like what Doreen had to offer, some of them are in the field like you and I. Many are wounded, vulnerable souls trying to find answers, trying to find some light in their darkness. And so essentially, she's sold them some healing, and now leaving those people to wonder, was that real? Did that really help me? Did she just sell me something that wasn't real? And I want to stress, love is real. Love really is the solution when we have a struggle. So keep reading those Doreen Virtue books. Keep reading them because they offer so much love and healing in them. And then to shift over as far as, you mentioned the Hay House family, and, I'm reading through this list saying, oh my gosh, like she's directly speaking to people who I personally have heard her call her friends. Mm-hmm. And what kind of healing are they needing now? So for me, I've been consciously just holding that space for them as well. So there's a lot of people who can be, maybe, and I'm not saying it was her target to hurt people, but there's going to be people hurting as a result of this list. And I just want to keep saying, shine your light and do your thing, because, her pendulum will swing again. She's already shown us. She's already shown us 3 big swings. She'll do it again. She'll come back, or she'll move on to something else in another 10, 20 years. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out and just remind everybody that, we've been given those gifts and accept them as gifts, and accept that she's looking for new gifts now. And I'm hoping that'll help everybody with wondering, is this real? Is this something that I could accept? Because it's so different. And I just want to say, people pay me a lot of money to get answers. And I'm telling you for free, no, you don't have the demon in you. I don't have the demon in me. Roberta does not have the demon in her. I'm really confident on that.
Yeah, definitely. And as to add to what you're saying, Sam, is, trust yourself. If something's stirring within you right now from this or from whenever, there's always going to be something, whether it's this topic that we're talking about and where Doreen is, or whatever you're going through. If you sink within yourself and into your heart space, and like Sam said, love, into compassion, into grace, and listen, what is best for you and what feels right. And sometimes when we're reaching out too much to others, especially those that, have really stepped up in the field of a particular area, like Doreen Virtue, with especially her angels. Like I always think Doreen Virtue, I think angel medicine, like that's one of her top notes. So it's a little hard when we have the ones that's what we're influenced by, but they're on their journey. They are humans. They are just like you and I. We are going through stuff. We have everyday things. We have relationship stuff. We have dramas. We have wounds in healing, past, present, future stuff, karma stuff. No, there's no demon in us. And yes, this may be a language for some. But yes, we have shadow sides and those darker sides as our light sides, right? We are wise enough, all of us, to know when our energies are low and the vibration feels low because we're going through something that it's heavier, and we have to move and work and get whatever we need from that moment. But we also know we have these moments of real light and love, and our energy is so good, so beautiful. And life offers us that, right? That polarity, that dichotomy of the seeing the black and white within ourselves and the middle ground. So that's where we both of us would invite you, if anything's stirring within this for you and you feel like you might be a little lost because you're like, oh, I took teachings with Doreen, or I followed this, now I'm a little confused and lost, and it was a healing. Go within yourself, because you know it. And yes, we need support. That's why Sam and I do what we do, because we know that we're there to help support people and offer some light and love to help them with their paths, just as we go through this same thing. We have our people. We are doing this work too. We look to other people. So know that if you just take some time within yourself, you'll be able to feel what the truth is and what the love and the essence is right for you, where you are right now in your life. And we all change. We're always evolving, right? Absolutely. Just like Doreen is evolving.
She absolutely is. And if you're still called to the angel cards, I checked on Facebook. Radley Valentine is still doing his thing and shining his light. So go check him out. And he's continuing the work. So know that that work isn't leaving with Doreen's shift in belief system. It just means that other people have picked up the torch. Radley's going to continue carrying the torch. And so many more people are enlightened now. If we think about all the people that Doreen touched with this language and with the normalcy of talking about angels, with talking about fairies, with talking about mermaids even, with talking about ascended masters, she made those conversations normal so that we all can continue the learning and share it with others. So thank you so much for that, Doreen, because you know, I'm so grateful for your teachings. And now I can see, if you look at the beginning of her work to today, how many more people are open to saying, I talk to angels. When I travel, I have, you know, pink light with me, and I call on Archangel Metatron, and all of these things that many people didn't know what the heck that was 20 years ago. So thank you, Doreen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you, Doreen. Yeah, because like, I've definitely have referenced her and her stuff when I'm teaching about the angels and archangels. And even when I talk about the Ascended Masters, or one of her, like the book I was referring to, I will say, go have a look at that one too, because it gives you a little insight. So she, you know, she has offered a lot to us that are, you know, wanting to step into that part of our lives, that spiritual essence part that sometimes we feel alone, that we don't know who to talk to, that we're not even sure if it's real. Like, and now she's able, you know, through her work, she's given us a roadmap and tangible things to be able to talk about and go, oh, I'm not so crazy, or this is happening, or here, and now I can understand a little bit more about Archangel Michael and using blue energy and knowing that he is about protection. And I mean, these things, I mean, I'm feeling like coming back to like her topic of this, her on her website, reading it, there's still this conflicting energy. She's conflicting in what her new belief is and what she's putting out there, because if you, like I said, it's extreme. But if, you know, to me, you know, moving into Christianity, moving into having more of a connective, deeper relationship with Jesus, with God, and the teachings that run through there, depending on where you're running your teachings through, they're still like angels, archangels. I'm sorry, when I think archangels, I think Jesus, I think God, I think that my brain in essence goes to the energetics of Christianity, divine helpers and healers. When I think Jesus, I think Ascended Master. She talks about that in her little post about no to the Ascended Masters and the whole thing. So I don't know, Sam, do you want to share so we can pull it up and just share a little?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, when I read this article, I think before I shared it, I did like 15 searches trying to see if it was fake. Because it's so bizarre to me that she wrote this article, but it's on her website, guys. And it's really interesting too, because if you read the article and then look at the comments, guaranteed she's taken the negative comments out. The comments are now closed. You're not able to comment on it. But it's only people who agree with her, their comments were kept. And I just always find that really interesting when I see things like that.
Yeah, and I like how you said you did search. Everybody search things. If you're like, especially if it's triggering, like you're like that her post is like, what?
Yeah.
Search it. Go see if it's actually real, because we know in the social media world, educate yourself, because there's so much crap out there, right? Falsehood. Things are just trying to stir up fear. If anything, there's some demons. Social media, no. But you got to discern what is true and was, right? When we're choosing to look at things and what we share and what we want to bring into our lives. So, yeah, it's real. Like, it's on her, unless someone hijacked her. I can make comments.
Unless someone hijacked her.
Yeah,
I think we could just leave it there and we would be okay.
Yeah. So it is coming from her. It's coming from her website.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, we're not just feeding off somebody else's, ad lib on what they think of Doreen and what Doreen might be thinking nowadays. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of different posts. Actually, I shared one on Friday night from a website that I like their articles, and it was about her attack on unicorns, and and all the great things about unicorns, and it's like a slap funny, like it's hilarious. It's a cute little thing about unicorns and Doreen. Yeah. So Sam, do you want me to attempt to do this share? Would you like?
Why don't you attempt it, and if not, I can pull it up on my screen, no problem.
So we said to attempt to do the share because earlier mine was not scrolling well for me. So Sam, can you see that?
I sure can.
Okay. Now the problem will be, will this scroll properly? Oh, there we go. It is moving. Okay. So I would say this is what it looks like when you go to her page. This is it. Doreen Virtue. A to Z list of new age practices to avoid and why. I mean, that kind of right there grabs your attention when it's coming from her. And she has prayer, she has different things in this, and I can't even go there. And not that I don't normally like to look at some prayers and affirmations, but I'm like, I personally can't go. I don't even want to read it. So do you want to, Sam, want us just to kind of go to the list. The first part, just so you guys know, talks all about fear-based, negative, demons, the devil, about Jesus. Like, have a little look at it. Please read the whole thing. We are not joking when we said it's long. We haven't even gotten to the list yet on this page.
Yeah, and that personal note from Doreen too, as we scroll by that part, it's almost as though that's her way of seeking forgiveness for all the work that she did, and just her way of excusing, oops, my bad, sorry for that 30 years of teachings and all the money that I made and my big mansion in Hawaii and oops, my bad, sorry. So it in itself is a little bit triggering. So she does acknowledge someone else did help her with this list and with the article. She refers to we throughout the article, but that's her personal note, just excusing all of the work that she's done up until now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You really, you definitely get that feel. The kind of like the redemption. Here's part of my redemption by making this list.
Yeah.
And sharing it out there. This is my Hail Marys. I know it's more Catholic, but it's almost like this is what I'm doing, and I'm sorry. And so it starts with like you see right here, affirmations without using God. We go into angel cards. I mean,
and can I say we can't even. I'm saying we as a collective, and I know some people are excused from this, but those of us who do work with affirmations, those of us who do work in, self-help fields and in healing fields, few of us can hear the word affirmations without thinking Louise Hay. And, part of my heart is so sad because of all of the good things Louise Hay did for Doreen Virtue, as well as many others. And, she doesn't always use God in her affirmations. So I want to just shout out to Louise Hay. Thank you for all of the work you did, all the healing you've brought to our world. And I'm so sad to see that on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. The thing is, we're moving into this time, we have been for a while, where we are, trying to understand, something beyond us and our own beliefs and create that space within ourselves, but so that we can open up and be that collective that we dream of, that we talk about, that oneness, to say, okay, you don't share exactly my beliefs, or how I would say from God to Great Spirit to divine to universe to source to God to goddesses. I mean, I do that quite often in my work. I'll use interchange or move with all of them, because we want to be open, that we want to respect everybody on their path. And so hence, like someone like Louise Hayes, like a lot of them you wouldn't see God, but she has her own higher beliefs in that, but it's because she's working out there in a world where she's wanting that acceptance and to bridge those gaps that are out there still, to let everybody feel like this is something we can all do, whether like prayer. And we can all pray. We can all do affirmations to help us. And Sam and I both, with coaching and our personal lives, we know how powerful, like having affirmations. We know that how powerful it is for our clients to work with affirmations. But to see certain things on here and say, well, if you're not having God, and if you're not having God the way that, it's also the way that Doreen views God and what God is. It's not like God and whatever that is for you and your religion and your whatever your path. It is also about, it's got to be her God that she believes in that very black and white. So it's also that we're wanting to pay attention to in this article.
And keep it, and pay attention to the layers. So this isn't just a list and her new spiritual views. It's also got a political connotation to her previous publisher, to her friends, her social network. It's very layered. Yeah.
Very layered. So of course I'm just, I'm going to just go down this list a bit. And Sam, if you see one that you want to comment on, just say, and I'll pause. But of course, the first three things are all, like I said, when I think angels, out of the people out there in the world that has put a spotlight on this, I think personally, Doreen Virtue. And so here we go. We got three things right here. We also know that, Ascendant Masters she's talked about, worked with. So I'd like to just pause on the Ascended Master because it talks about here within the belief that deceased religious leaders and mythical beings can be contacted for guidance. Sometimes people include Jesus in this list, which I do, which is heresy, since Jesus is the Son of God and not just a human teacher who ascended. Ascended Masters are either demons in disguise, oh dear Lord, or fragments of our wishful thinking. Like, I just cringe. I'm like, dear Lord, dear Lord, dear Lord.
Yeah.
They're demons in disguise.
Spiritually dangerous, if you look down to astral projection. Demonic strongholds. Like, this language, guys, my goodness, it's definitely strong language and definitely intended to be so.
I don't know how I just clicked on that. I don't know if you could see that. There, let's put that. I'm like, I clicked on something there. I know, it's just not cool. It's just not cool. Astrology.
Yes. It's, again, astrology around for thousands of years. This is not a new practice. It's not just some woo-woo thing that somebody just came out with yesterday. And it's science.
It's science. This is saying it is science. Like, it's not woo-woo.
Yeah.
It's not woo-woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chakras. I want to go here with this one.
Thousands of years, guys. Not something brand new. And yeah. And it's interesting, the different Bible quotes that are used and the interpretation applied throughout as well. So yeah. Shall we touch on channeled books, Roberta?
Oh my dear Lord. Well, we know where we're starting to go here with some things, because we also know there's many people in the Hay House family, and beyond people that are in a Hay House family that are well known and published.
Yeah.
But I right away think of people that she has been friends with, has shared a stage with, that she's done projects with. She herself, right? Like, it's channeled, right? Yep. Books. She just, like, anybody that does anything that's channeled, meaning, divine source or whatever that speaks to you, flowing through, downloading, and you creating an output in some ways in the sense of books. Well, we know what's coming down, and one of the things coming down the list, and who that's directed, one of the people that she's directing that at.
Yeah.
Sam, what do you want to put on that one?
Touching on channeled books, without naming names, I think we all know at least some of the people that she's targeting with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But can I just say, and we're going to go on this as well, you're going to see Course in Miracles coming up too, channeled as well, and how Course of Miracles, there we go, there it is supposedly dictated by Jesus. It's a mixture of truth and lies. The book designed to pull you away from the true Jesus, the Holy Bible, the Gospel. Avoid this book completely. So, let's just point out, the Bible is a channeled book, friends. The difference being Course in Miracles is channeled by one person with the help of somebody else to help her write it. The Bible channeled by many, many, many men, and edited by many, many, many men, with wonderful, wonderful teachings in it. So I am not at all slamming the Bible. It is one of my favorite books, to be honest. I have read it in entirety several times. You can take a lot from it. However, it's a channeled book. So right there, huge contradiction. And Course in Miracles, again, widely supported by Hay House. And it reads a lot like the Bible, absolutely, but again, teaching. So regardless of your beliefs, you can read the Quran, you can read many books throughout cultures, and many are considered to be channeled, and you can gain wisdom from that, teaching from that, healing from that. But to condemn one source over another, it really is just pointing out to differences amongst humanity. These are the things that wars are built on. not love. And I'm throwing my 2 cents in. You can take it or leave it. But if you can read something and it triggers you, see why it triggers you. You don't have to believe anything, but to condemn other people in favor of just your own beliefs is incredibly narrow-sided. And so I was disappointed by that one too.
Yeah. Like that's one of the big first. I was like, oh my God. Like, well, I mean, there's just so much. It's not the first one on the list.
Yeah.
There's just so much on here that's like so conflicting, and it just doesn't even, it's not even holding up. She's leaking. If she's trying to hold something for herself and a power, it's leaking because she's contradicting.
Yeah.
So see that, feel that. If you're like, oh my gosh, I maybe should be throwing all these out the window and following Doreen and her path. Maybe that is the path of the way of the light, and so be it if you actually,
and
if you feel that. But
pass them on to somebody else who can get use out of them. Because as I mentioned, whether you've got Doreen Virtue books, cards, whatever you've got, if you read this article and you go, oh wow, I think it's totally right, which I'm not thinking any of you will, but hypothetically you could, then don't throw them in the garbage. Give them to somebody else and help them on their healing. Pass on the love.
Yeah. So we have, I've just kept on moving down our list because it's a big list.
It is. We're only at D.
What's that?
We're only at D.
We're only at D, people. So, if you want to read more, spend time with this yourself. Dream catchers.
Drumming circles.
Insulting.
How insulting.
Very insulting. A new age borrowed from many cultures with understanding underlying meanings. Well, sometimes it is borrowed in from various cultures, and we don't understand the underlying meaning. That's true. I would say true. But then we go into, it's demon. It's intrusion. Like, you're not, it's not direct. It's not God. It's therefore no. Like, but these have been around forever and a day.
Empowerment.
How can you put empowerment on this?
I have no idea.
I looked at that and I was like, what? You are not what you're not to be, like, empowerment, the word in itself, right? To feel better, to empower, to hold and know your own worth and strength.
To lift others up. You want to talk Christianity? That was a teaching of Jesus. Lift others up. So empowerment. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Energy healing. Well, I also think of who's in part of the Hay House person that when I think energy healing, I think of her.
Yeah.
That brought a lot of that certified training energy healing, her and her partner. Yeah. I mean, okay, fairies. Fairies, I mean, some of you might be like, yeah, I'm not really into fairies. But let me tell you, after spending some time in Ireland, it's like part of their culture, the wee folk, the little ones, right? And, we saw something over my shoulder there a while ago, like sparks of light. Like, these things are very real. May not be real for everybody, but
feng shui, come on, guys. How can putting a fountain and a fire feature in your house be a call of the devil? Like, let's just be real.
Well, geez, fountain and fire. Well, are you not making portals in your home for them?
Oh my. And I'm sorry, we're making a little bit of light, and sometimes that is healing too, right? I have to laugh at this because it's just so ridiculous.
Yes.
Feng Shui's been around by so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And just because it's a different practice than yours, to say that's the work of the devil. My husband loved Harry Potter on this list. He thought that was wonderful.
Okay, what? Can you say that again? What?
Chris, he saw Harry Potter, and that was his joke all day yesterday.
Yeah. Along with the yoga, because he made a yoga comment, and I just cracked up when I read that one.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to yoga, people, but
yeah.
So beware of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter. Oh my Lord. I love Harry Potter. I just rewatched it around Christmas time, the whole, all of them. You know, and that's probably like my 4th time of sitting watching all of them. I love Harry Potter.
And I love the story behind Harry Potter. I love a good resiliency story about a woman who, rises above and shares a story which brings joy to people, and she makes some money and gets out of her current circumstances. I think it's fantastic.
Or the sacrifice of a mom and a father to their child, and how friends are your true friends, and they'll stand behind you no matter what you got to face in this world, and how family can be different than what we think it is. I mean, seriously, people?
We could write a university class or course on just that topic and the correlations between Doreen and what she's doing to her family and friends through this list and the love that exists. But, we don't have enough time for that today.
We have other things.
We do.
Like, I got to cleanse my crystals later on and do some smudging after this. And then I think I'm going to, go into my sacred tools and teach about 12 other people about them and how they should bring them into their lives. Yeah, I got some other things I got to do.
Yep, me too. Hypnosis. Again, a science.
Yep.
Wonderful tool. Idols. I wonder how many idols Doreen made money off of before making this list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Law of attraction. Wow, there's another direct. Who do we think of when we think law of attraction?
So many of people who've been really good to her. But you know what? Again, I'm saying this with love because Doreen, if you happen to have been kidnapped and somebody's holding you hostage and you've been forced to write this, we're still going to love you at the end of this. And I'm so grateful for everything you brought forward to the world. And I know that the people who will be hurt by this list are totally forgiving you and sending you love. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't even know how manifesting can get on a list. Personally, I just can't even.
Yeah.
So mediumship.
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde, once again, it's a planetary scientific, I don't know. Mindfulness. Oh. I mean, I can't even, guys, I'm sorry. Numerology, I'm doing numerology right now, training. So I'm like, oh, man. Oracle cards. Let's just read that one.
Yeah, let's do that.
The belief is that a piece of cardboard can predict the future. It can't. But demons circle around such practices. They give us a mixture of truth and false advice to mislead vulnerable and trusting people.
I've really got my earth brain is yelling. So this is not spiritual Sam speaking to you. This is kind of my earth brain. I'm maybe going a little bit into my legal social work background a little bit here. Just reading that and knowing the millions of dollars that she made just on oracle cards alone, how many class action lawsuits are going to be filed about her? She's outright saying that she was giving false advice to mislead vulnerable and trusting people.
Yeah.
Now I want to tell you, oracle cards are lovely. She's right in that they are just a piece of cardboard. However, the insight that comes is actually your higher self, your unconscious mind, bringing forth the information that you already know. The piece of cardboard is not giving you the information. It's igniting a conversation in your brain and at a soul level so that you can get the answers you need. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally just ran a workshop this past week on oracle cards. and how to connect with them and how to have them as a tool that supports you in your healing, on your path, not like believing, predicting future and like trusting, okay, well, this card says blah, 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 therefore I gotta, like, use your brain. Be common sense. This is a tool that if you know how to, call in the ones that feel good and feel right for you, that they can support you and inspire you, empower you, uplift you.
Yeah.
In what you are choosing and empowering in your life.
Absolutely. And I just want to say too, just even with oracle cards, many people will take an inspiring book they have, including the Bible. And when they have a trouble in their world, they'll just randomly open to a page and read that for insight. That's not demonology either.
No.
That's a conversation between your conscious and unconscious mind to bring you insight so you can help make a decision or move on your path. So, yeah.
Yeah. Paganism. I mean, there's past life regression. Peace symbol. Oh. Upside down broken cross.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And of course I see power animals, and that's one I would stop on and go, because I personally believe in power animals. I know my power animals. I talk to people about it. I know how helpful, inspiring, and healing reconnecting with our power animals are. But this goes back so long ago, Earth and man and animals and nature. We are one, working with each other, whether here in living form or, as I say, beyond the veil, right? Our spirit family that's there. And part of our spirit family can be Jesus for you. Like, you know what I mean? But power animals, psychic, Reiki. Sam and I both do Reiki. We teach Reiki.
Yeah.
Sage. Really? Sage?
Yeah. I wonder what she thinks of frankincense and myrrh. Those are gifts.
Maybe those ones are acceptable.
Maybe. So Doreen, if you're watching and listening, we'd love some insight on that.
Yeah, because like truly, should we be,
I apologize. I'm being a little cheeky today. I'm not often like this, but when I get fired up, I kind of can be. I'm a little fired up right now.
I'm quite cheeky quite often. So I have that in a normal, everyday kind of way. So.
Yeah.
Sam's just bouncing me out a little bit to not be so cheeky. Shamanism.
Yeah.
Sorcery, spirit guides. Sweat lodges. Dear Lord. Seriously.
Tapping. Roberta, do you mind if I lead us in a tapping circle to help us get through this list a little bit?
Yes, please.
Awesome. So you can see me. You can see all around me. Sam, if any of you...
Sam, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. Because I got you, I'm going to stop the share for a moment.
Yeah.
When you're talking, because we have you off on the side like me, I don't have a green box highlighting for you. So I'm going to stop the share right now so we can make sure that we do see you. There we go.
Awesome. So you guys can see all around me. You can see, we're not doing demonology right now. Let me show you the healing power of tapping. It can happen in as little as 2 minutes to 20 minutes, anything. There's a reason why it's promoted by so many people. There is a science to it. There is so much to it, and none of it is got anything to do with religion. So we go with let let me see if I can do this. See there, the side? I like to use all 4 fingers here. Some people just use a couple. I use all 4. And tapping, it's that little spot in between the bone and the flesh there. You can kind of feel it, right? A couple of these, you know you got the right spot because they hurt a little bit. The next spot is above the eyebrows. Again, just meridian centers, guys. Like, this is science. Then 2 fingers at the side of the eyes. Underneath, on the cheek, like right here, underneath the eyes. Just 1 underneath the nose. Underneath the lips, above the chin there, that little indent. And then down here, this one kind of hurts if you get the right spot. All right. Then the side, I say the bra line. Ladies, it's where your bra is. Men, just under there, makes you look like a monkey kind of. Tapping under there. And again, doesn't necessarily tickle. All right. So we go to here, and this is where we start. So I'm going to say it, and Roberta, if you can repeat back, and those of you watching, you can do this along too, okay? So even though I'm feeling a little triggered right now.
I'm feeling a little triggered right now.
I'm feeling some judgments flying.
I feel like some judgments are flying.
And I'm not perfect.
And I'm not perfect.
And I deeply and completely love myself.
Love myself.
We've got this list.
We got this list.
This list created by someone we trusted.
This list created by someone we trusted.
This list that is unfair to many cultures.
This list that is unfair to many cultures.
This list that speaks to the intelligence of others.
This list that speaks the intelligence of others.
This list that creates differences amongst humanity.
This list that creates differences amongst humanity.
And I'm a little triggered.
And I'm a little triggered.
And some of them I'm a little pissed off.
I'm a little pissed off.
And come on back here. I'm doing a short one, but you can keep doing rounds like that until you feel yourself coming down. And even though there's this list.
Even though there is this list.
And it's a total shift from what we've seen before.
And it's a total shift from what we've seen before.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Accept myself.
All right, guys. If that felt at all evil to you, then, no judgment. I'm going to love you anyhow. But I have a really difficult time seeing that as connected to the devil. Yeah. And I do feel a little bit calmer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we finish off that list?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I feel a little more grounded.
Good.
My cheekiness has gone to sleep a little. No.
Wake that back up. It's
So tapping. Yeah, thanks, Sam. And see,
yeah.
Notice how you're feeling. What's it resonate within you, right? To what's saying here, just from going through what tapping is and what it feels like.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It says on there, cast your anxieties to God. If we're going on that thought base, if we're going on that belief system, then wouldn't God have given man the tool of tapping to help them through it? Just food for thought.
Food for thought.
Unicorns. I have a picture of Doreen with a unicorn. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vision boards.
The evil vision boards. I did my workshop a couple weeks ago on vision boards. It was amazing. Keep doing your vision boards, guys. They're incredible. And I don't know. I will follow Christ my Savior wherever he leads me and whatever it costs me. What does that have to do with vision boarding? I don't really understand.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
you get a little worn down, I think, as you get through this end of this
Yeah.
list. You're just like almost checking out, or at least I feel like I'm almost checking out a bit
Yeah.
because I'm like, I can't hold it. I'm finding it hard to even hold a realness or serious or something to it. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like I can't hold this.
I think we're coming near the end, though.
Yeah, the W's.
Yeah.
Witchcraft, Wicca, yoga.
Try Pilates instead, folks, because apparently Pilates is pro-Christianity and yoga is not. I don't really understand this at all. Why can't we just be pro everything? Whatever makes you feel good, do it, and just love people.
This is where we go into craziness. And I refer to this in my video I did with my group yesterday, in comments I've made on other people's posts. We're going into craziness to my, it's what we're untethering. She's untethering from, that's how it feels like. You're untethering. This doesn't even make sense. It's just like craziness, and like that is so out there that I have to laugh. Therefore it becomes funny. But yet at the same time, even though it's funny, it's not funny.
It's sad. Like, honestly, I have given so many prayers for her reading this list in the last, 30 hours. We're making light as a coping mechanism, but know that this is really sad. Yeah. Now, Roberta, can I get your insight onto the picture chosen for this article?
So, yes, please, because I'm literally just seeing it, I swear, for the first time.
The feminine divine goddess prayer, opening yourself up to the heavens, to spirit. And the warning below it is, stay alert, watch out for the array, the enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. That lady in that picture is not being devoured. She's standing in her own power. So that was another disconnect for me.
Yeah. I like Lisa, I didn't even anchor in on that yesterday when I went through this picture, and just as I got to it, I'm like, what is this picture doing here? Is it saying watch out for pictures like this? Like, I actually thought it was going to be a comment saying watch out for imagery like this, that really, I'm like, oh, that looks like a really cool picture. I mean, she's got some beautiful energy balls in her hand, and is open up and divine, all of it. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't even say that. So why is she using this picture? I don't get it. I didn't bother to.
Let's go back up. I don't know that we really want to share the names of the people posting.
No, sorry. Yeah. I was just about to stop there and say I didn't bother to even go to comments myself or read any of them. So let's.
I was going to comment. However, I couldn't because the comments were closed. And that's when I did have a look at the comments. And again, it was all just people. They call themselves ex-New Agers, which just that term alone to me is a little bizarre. I don't know. Is it like ex-smokers or ex-packs? Like, I don't know.
You know what? Energetically on that though, I didn't read that or didn't know that was a term that they're referring to out there. The energetics that I feel off that is just as scary as, things that we've seen condemn other religions, started wars, genocide. The energetics that run through when we get stuff like that. It's just, we want love, we want peace. I mean, we struggle, and there's so much in this world that's already hard and harsh at times. Let's not promote it more, and it's us and them kind of mentality.
Exactly. We're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
And the faster humanity can realize that and celebrate each other's differences, first of all, our lives will become much more interesting in a good way because we'll get to learn new things every day. But secondly, things like wars, things like hunger, those will come to an end. Let's focus on loving each other and celebrating differences rather than trying to really exclude people and target them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah.
We're going to stop this share. Stop share. There we go. And back to us. How are you feeling, Sam?
You know, I'm okay. I think the tapping actually really helped. But, you know, I think I just spent so much time yesterday going through this and kind of taking inventory for myself. I had a lot of my students wanting to have conversation about it. I know you did too. I had, you know, blew up on my Facebook page. You guys can see the comments, but the private messages that came in, oh my goodness, like it was really, really quite something that a lot of people felt impacted. So what I did was I just went through the gratitude. I went into my healing room and I sat with her books and I sat with some of her cards and I sent her some love. I sent her gratitude and I just set the intention that those works will continue and be passed on to whoever needs them for their healing. And I just thank Hay House so much for the work that they do every single day in bringing the voice of different authors, the voice of different teachers out to mainstream so that things like angels and angel cards and energy healing and vision boards and manifesting and drumming circles can all be such mainstream conversation that it's no longer weird to say to somebody, hey, I talk to dead people. And people don't have to sneak over to my house anymore. They don't have to get a reading. They just book an appointment and they come and it's not all weird. But I will tell you, the ones who do sneak over are of certain faiths and they're trying to hide it from their partners. And anytime we have to hide something, if you feel you have to hide something, that is not celebrating differences. That's not being open to the teachings of the world. And so I just shine your light, guys. Do whatever it is that you're called to do. Speak your truth. And it's okay if it's different than my truth. I actually celebrate that. I know Roberta does too. If we all were saying the exact same thing all the time and we didn't have conversations about controversial things that come up in our lives, we'd be all really bored. And I'm all for the excitement in a loving, kind way rather than, you know, demonizing, which is such a strong word, people who are only following the teachings you gave them in the first place. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
That's your 2 cents. And I agree. Yeah. Yeah, to wrap this up, first of all, if you've been with us through this call, thank you. Obviously, you've come to maybe do some healing, have some clarity, some insight yourself on this, and that's definitely what our purpose was, to maybe possibly have open conversation and to talk about this. Just to remind you, yeah, if something's triggering you, no matter what it is, depending on, you know, this article or something else in your life, always sink into yourself, into your heart space, into love. If you're in stress or fear or worry, you know, call up something that brings you love, that makes you feel loved, and just wrap yourself with that. If that's a person, your partner, your children, if it's nature, if it's your religion, if it's whatever, you know, call that in, surround yourself in it, bring it, breathe it into your being, into your heart center, and reawaken that you have that spark, and that is you. That in itself is you, and you will have that power to do it. And decide from there, from that centered spot, what feels good, what feels aligned. And like Sam with her work, my work, I have a whole 9-month program that I'm walking people through to empower themselves, to understand what their medicine is, to awaken even more. How do they weave all of this in their lives? I live and walk and breathe this within myself, and also share it out in the world. And I think it's important that you know, that we all align to what we are. And if we're being challenged and swinging in something going, oh, well, I may need have to relook at something I have believed in.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't aligned. That's totally fine. Like, invite that inquiry within your life. But always remember, many are on their own paths. This is true and beautiful things to help people heal. And even if it may not be yours anymore, that's okay. But understand why it's not and how that anchors within your heart and your soul. Yeah. So Sam and I are, you know, we're always happy to connect with you. If any of you need any healing, any conversations, any support, whether it's about this topic, what we've talked about today, or anything else that comes off of that. So Sam, how can people get a hold of you?
I'm always on Facebook, so you can go Sam Black Psychic Medium, or if you're more interested in the coaching side, Coaching Solutions with Sam Black. And then my website, nice and easy, www.samblack.ca. So that is the easiest way to find me. And also my radio show, Soulful Connections, on Wednesdays on Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Sam. And for me, you can find me on my social media too, Facebook, Roberta Robbins, and also the easiest is my website, robertarobbins.com. From there, it has all my contact information. You can see other sacred conversations like this on the website itself. And if you are someone that's like, well, I have a topic, I want to have a conversation that I feel as though may be helpful to other people, please reach out to me too, and we can have a chat just like this, because my intention is that we have open conversations and that it may help others, inspire others on their journey, just like Sam's radio talk show. It's the same thing, like she brings guests together to help support you in your journey in this life. So thanks for being with us, and until the next sacred conversation.